Hey everyone, and welcome. So if you're new to Korea, or hey, even if you've been here for a little while, you've definitely run into the Great Recycling Challenge. It can seem super complicated at first, but I promise you, once you get the hang of the system, it's actually really logical. Today, we're going to break it all down, nice and simple.
You know the feeling, right? You're holding, like, an empty coffee cup, a plastic wrapper, and maybe a banana peel, and you just freeze. We have all been there. That little moment of panic, wondering, am I about to do this wrong? Well, you're not alone, and trust me, we're about to make that feeling a thing of the past.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to crack this whole recycling riddle by understanding the basic 4-bin system here in Korea. Then we'll get into the details and decode the trickiest items, and of course, master the food waste rules. And to wrap it all up, we'll finish with a super handy pro checklist that's going to make you a recycling expert.
Okay, so to really get Korean recycling, you have to understand the core idea behind it. Everything is divided into 4 main categories. It's all about making sure every single piece of waste finds its proper home. So let's break down what those 4 categories actually are.
First up, we've got general waste, or 일반 쓰레기. Pretty straightforward. This is for anything that can't be recycled or turned into compost. Now, the single most important rule here, you have to listen to this, is that you must use these specific prepaid bags. You can grab them at any convenience store or supermarket. Using any other kind of bag is a huge no-no and can actually get you a fine.
Next, we have recyclables, or 재활용품. And this is where things start to get a little more detailed. These are all the items that can get a second life. But, and this is a big but, only if they're prepped the right way. We'll get into those details in just a minute, but for now, just know this category is for clean plastics, paper, glass, and metals.
And here is a big one, something that's pretty unique to Korea for a lot of us. Food waste, or 음식물 쓰레기. The key thing to understand is that this isn't just about throwing away old food. This specific waste is collected and processed into animal feed or compost. And that purpose? That is going to be our secret weapon for sorting it correctly later on.
And finally, what about those really big things, like an old desk chair or a broken suitcase? That's large-scale waste, or 대행 폐기물. You can't just drag these out to the curb. You have to pop down to your local community center, or sometimes you can do it online, and buy a special sticker for that specific item. This just makes sure all that bulky stuff is handled properly.
Okay, let's dive into the deep end. Recyclables. Because let's be honest, this is where most of the confusion happens. So how do you actually prepare these items so they can have that new life we talked about? Well, it all comes down to 3 pretty simple steps.
Here they are, the 3 golden rules. First, and I cannot stress this enough, everything must be clean. Rinse out that cup, wash that food tray. No excuses. Second, get rid of any extras. Peel off paper labels and pop the plastic caps off bottles. They're usually different types of material. And third, flatten everything. Crushing your cans and boxes saves a ton of space and makes the whole process way more efficient.
So you might be thinking, wow, why all the fuss? Why so strict? Well, there's a really good reason. A single dirty container that's still got food on it can contaminate an entire huge batch of plastics. And when that happens, the whole thing just gets sent to a landfill. So your little effort to rinse something out, it makes a massive difference. Now here's a little pro tip for you. The packaging itself will literally tell you what to do. Start looking for these symbols. You'll see PET on your clear plastic drink bottles. PP or PS is usually on things like yogurt cups or other opaque containers. And vinyl, that's for all your clean plastic bags and snack wrappers. Just remember, they have to be clean. All right, let's tackle the other big mystery, food waste. And I want you to forget about trying to memorize long lists of what's in and what's out. All you need to remember is one simple question, a little trick I like to call the animal feed test. Remember how we said this waste becomes animal feed? Well, that's your cheat code. Soft stuff like banana peels or leftover rice? Yep, an animal can eat that. That's food waste. But what about hard things like a big peach pit, chicken bones, or clamshells? An animal can't eat those. The same idea applies to really fibrous things like onion skins or stuff that isn't really food like eggshells or tea bags. All of that, it goes into the general waste bag.
So it really just boils down to this. Before you throw something in the food waste bin, ask yourself, could an animal safely eat this? If the answer is no, because it's too hard or sharp or even super spicy, then it belongs in your general waste bag. It's really that simple.
Phew, we have covered a lot of ground. from the special waste bags to our new favorite trick, the animal feed test. So let's bring it all together into one final, super simple checklist so you can walk away from this feeling totally confident.
All right, here it is, your 5 golden rules. Number 1, always use the right prepaid bags. Number 2, clean, rinse, dry. Make sure all your recyclables are clean. 3, for food scraps, use our animal feed test. 4, if it's big, get a sticker first. And finally, number 5, and this one is super important, check the specific disposal days and times for your apartment building or your neighborhood, because they can definitely vary.
You know, at the end of the day, getting this right is about so much more than just avoiding a fine or following rules. It's a really fundamental part of daily life here. By taking that extra second to sort your trash correctly, you're really showing respect for the local environment and for the community that you're a part of. It's a small thing that makes a really big difference.
So, the next time you're standing in front of those bins, I hope you feel a sense of clarity, of confidence. You've got the system down, you know the rules, and you have the checklist. So the only question left is, are you ready to recycle like a local?